Hello and welcome back to Fish Anything. Today I'm with my friend Dave and we are out on his boat and we're getting rained on. But my friends, I am fishing with the Moonshine Rambler Ultralight and I'm really excited because I've heard good things about this rod. So you know the drill. I'm gonna fish with it, I'm gonna catch fish with it, and I'm just gonna share my opinions. So with that being said, let's start getting rained on and let's start catching fish. Let's go.
Before I get started, I just want to say this rod looks really beautiful. Also the specs: 6-foot ultralight, fast action, 2 to 6 pound test, 1/32 to 3/16 ounce lures. I mean, just look at this thing. It's really beautiful. I need to take the little plastic stuff off of this, but whatever, we'll just get started. Oh, look at that. MR. It's like M, Harry Potter, Lightning Bolt R, Moonshine rods. Honestly, the detail is very cool, very cool. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with a 1/16 ounce black workhorse jig with a Pasture Fire Donkey Tail Junior. So I literally just unboxed this rod once I got to the lake, and one of the things that I noticed is obviously it's a 2-piece rod, but it comes with a nice little rod tube, which is kind of cool. So if you travel with rods or if you just want something to kind of keep it protected, I think that's kind of neat. You know, Moonshine rods are predominantly fly fishing gear. It's mostly like a fly fishing trout type company. So the fact that they've got a spinning rod, obviously it intrigued me because it's different. One of the big things, the big call outs I have is the first guide is what they call a microwave guide. I've never used one of these before. I've seen them before. I believe it's supposed to help like cut down on friction and line twists, and it's supposed to increase your casting distance. I'm not 100% sure if I've noticed anything yet, but it's definitely gonna be something I'm gonna keep an eye on. I've got this rod paired up with the Shimano Sedona size 1000. It's a little over a 7-ounce reel. I've got 6-pound braid with a 4-pound monofilament leader. Seems to be pairing up quite nicely. The balance is pretty solid, I would say. You know, pretty neutrally balanced. Seems to pair quite well with the size 1000 reel. I think I need to switch plastics. That ought to do it right there. Looks pretty. Do not litter. As a reminder, do not litter. Going in my pocket. Okay, got all that plastic cut off. Yeah, that cork feels wonderful now. Okay, well, Dave's got something figured out. He's fishing a little deeper with the drop shot. He's catching dinky bass, but at least he's catching something. There. I don't know what this is. Oh, he shook it. He sprinted right at the boat and I didn't catch up with him. It was a little like 6-inch largemouth bass, literally tiny. All right, I'm making changes. Here's a little Yozuri Pins minnow. I'm gonna try a little jerkbait. Oh, there's one. He came up and train wrecked that thing after the first little jerk. A little largemouth. There you can see that rod bend right there. I think you're getting acquainted with the way that this rod flexes. And that's what I'm gonna talk about next. The way the rod flexes. Okay, jerkbait worked. I'm on the board. Skinny little largemouth. All right, Yozuri Pins minnow. Thank you, sir. Not telling you it's big, but at least we're on the board. I trust we'll get something bigger than that today. See you, buddy. Okay, so what are we gonna say about this rod? This rod right here, they call it a fast action. It is not a fast action. I would consider this a moderate, maybe a moderate fast, pretty close to a moderate. So I'm a little surprised they call it a fast because that thing right there, the way that is flexing does not look fast to me. After reviewing, what, 20 rods or however many rods I've used, there are a lot of ultralights that are much, much faster than that. Does not take a lot of pressure to bend down the backbone on this stick right here. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but again, it definitely changes what you want to do with the rod. And that's why with this jerkbait, or maybe a spinner, or something else that's, you know, a little bit better suited for a moderate taper rod, it'll be great. But for jig fishing and whatnot, I think you might be a little bit better off with something just a little bit faster. Just make sure we can really see that against that boat in the background. So I do got to give a shout out to my friend Dan. So he is one of my best friends from back in the day. He was actually my college roommate all 4 years, and he's a fly fishing guide out west. He's actually been in videos in the past, so for those of you who have been watching the channel for a long time, you've probably seen Dan before. Either way, Dan is the reason I got this, so shout out to Dan. He actually has a relationship with Moonshine because he uses their fly fishing rods. So I knew that if he uses their fly fishing rods, I had nothing but confidence that they make really high quality gear. And this rod definitely feels high quality, and he just threw a bass at me. But I really wanted to just test it for myself. So anyways, my buddy Dan, he sent me this rod. He got this for me for free, which it's a $180 rod. So huge shout out to Dan. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I'm not sure if you can see this, but as I go to do the jerkbait action, you can really see that that rod has quite a bit of whip to it. I wouldn't say it's like a whippy rod, but again, because it's more of that moderate feel, it just doesn't have that same level of just kind of stoutness that I like from a true fast action. What's really advantageous about the rods when they're a little bit faster and they don't whip quite as much is I feel like you always have a little bit better control of your jig or whatever you're fishing with, and you're able to pick up on those lighter bites just a little bit easier. When your rod kind of whips around a little bit, sometimes it's hard to detect those lighter bites because that rod is moving a little bit. You're not able to actually feel it. All right, Drop Shot Dave in the house. Kicking my butt. He's probably got me beat by about, well, you probably caught 10 fish by now.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I've got what, one? One and then a couple misses. Oh, one swerved it. I saw him come up and try to take a little bite of this thing. I didn't, oh there, he came back for it. Yes, came back for it. Never give up on those fish with the jerkbait. You know, even though it's a small bass, you know, if they come up and take a crack at it, they don't really get the hooks, they might come back. So just keep that retrieve going. And he's just barely hooked, but this is where that, you know, that rod being a moderate, more of a moderate feel, that's where it actually is really advantageous. If I was using a fast rod right now with this treble hook bait, there's definitely a chance I would have ripped the treble hooks right out of this fish's mouth. So again, pros and cons, pros and cons. Ooh, gotcha. You know, this rod right here is a huge reason, you know, why I do ultralight rod videos in the first place. I think there's so much variability with how rod manufacturers, you know, describe their rods. There's so many rod companies that call their rod a fast, and I think that the fast term is certainly not universal because this rod is not fast, not in my opinion. Either way, it just caught me another largemouth, so I'm not going to complain one bit. Oh, and there's the rain. Oh goodness, the rain is back. While it's raining, let's talk about the rod's aesthetics. This is the thing that I like best about this rod. This is hands down the prettiest ultralight that I've owned yet. I just genuinely love the color scheme. I love this right here, that kind of like, I don't even know what you call that, some sort of wood looking design. It's really neat. Nice split grip, very nice little reel seat, solid reel seat, very comfortable to fish with, but it's just a beautiful rod. I mean, they definitely pay attention to all the details. And little buddy Dave right here's got another drop shot bass. Good job, Dave. I had just a couple spinners in my box. This is a little, I think it's a 1/16 ounce Panther Martin. I think this is going to be a great little setup for this rod right here. I have a feeling this is going to be an incredible inline spinner rod. So I figure I might as well, you know, use its strong suits and try the spinner. I'm just going to cast this out in front of the weed beds, count it down, and then I'm just going to slow reel it. This kind of brings me back to my good old days when I first started fishing. Farm ponds, running a little inline spinner, and catching a lot of fish. I think this gold blade will be good for this conditions we've got. I already got one. That fish just ate it right away. Dinky little bass. Well, spinner works. There you go. It's gonna be a day of dinks, man. Day of dinks. See you, bud. I'm gonna bomb this off the back of the boat. I'm just gonna let it sink. That was a good strategy. I cast it way off the back of the boat and just let it sink for a while, and then I slow reeled it. I'm guessing this will be a little largemouth. He's not even really fighting anymore. I think he's coming to me. Yeah, there you go. That's a little bit better. I don't know what it is. Oh, yeah, it's a little largemouth. All right, cool. Strategy worked. Now, I don't know if we're ever gonna catch anything bigger than this. It seems like this place is overpopulated with tiny little bass, but I'll take it. Good time on an ultralight. See you, bud. Oh, big warmouth, buddy. Look at this warmouth Dave just caught. That's a solid one, dude. It's freaking gorgeous, dude. Nice work. You know, when Dave's beating me, I can be upset, but I'm not upset this time because he's beating me on my own products. Mule Minnow 2.2, Karma colored, rigged on a drop shot. Nice work, buddy. All right, I'm doing it because Dave's doing it and he's having a lot of luck. We're gonna try a little drop shot. Mule Minnow 2.2, I'm using white, he's using Karma, very similar colors. This one's gonna have just a little bit more pop, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Sending it.
Kind of pull it right in front of them.
There we go. Something on the drop shot. That fish ate super weird. A little largemouth. That was a weird bite. Like, I didn't even feel the bite, honestly. There we go. Caught fish on a few different rigs now. Drop shot works. And I hooked him right in the nose. Honestly, I never even really felt that bite. It's just all of a sudden you kind of had it. Oh, it's a good way to release him. There's a bite. Oh. A little short striker. There, he's coming. Got him. He short striked it like 2 or 3 times, and this is a bigger fish. I don't know what this is. It's either a largemouth that wants to be big, or it actually is big. It's got me down in something. Yeah, he's got me down in something. Could you maybe go forward? We might have to get on top of this fish. Oh yeah, we're like stuck in some kind of brush or something. This is a bigger fish. Yeah, I got him out. You might get that net. I don't think this is gonna be. This is what I like to see. Well, I stole Dave's rig, and it looks like it's gonna pay off. Oh yeah, nice largemouth. Look at that. The fact that that fish put up that fight on that rod tells you something. And it truly is an ultralight, that's for sure. Not a big largemouth, but he had some fight in him. It's a pretty fish too. Nice colors, kind of yellow almost. Moonshine Rambler. I like the rod. I like the rod. Definitely a unique rod. Not quite what I'm looking for like my everyday jig fishing, but good stick. Just a little largemouth.
Oh yeah.
See ya, buddy. It's day of dinky largemouth. And there you go. Drop shot's really killing it, man. Okay, I'm getting little short strikes out here. I'm wondering if these are little dinky perch. Oh, no, see, I've had probably 3 or 4 short strikes on this retrieve alone. There, watch. See that?
Yeah.
See, I tried to set the hook though, and he doesn't have it. Whatever this is,
Just
will
has.
not eat it.
Yeah.
There he is. I don't know if you can see this on the camera.
That is so
My rod tip is literally just bouncing. There he is.
Yeah.
But it's just a pesky little panfish. Got him.
Got his ass.
Got him. I can't believe it.
Finally. What is it?
I want to let him fight a little bit. Oh, it is bluegill.
Yeah, it is.
Not only that,
A decent one.
that's a big bluegill. Something tells me this fish is with a lot of smaller bluegill, because this one actually got it. But something tells me there's a bunch of tiny bluegill down there that are short striking. I mean, look at that. This fish ate it head first. He's got that hook down his throat. Finicky bluegill down there. We'll take him though. That is a gorgeous fish. See you, buddy. The drop shot's been good to me, but I am gonna try something else just for the sake of experimentation. 1/64 ounce pink mule jig with a Mule Minnow 1.2. Bite. Got him. That's a little dinky bass. Dinky bass. You know, I visually saw that. I didn't feel the bite or anything like that. I literally saw my jig go bye-bye. See you, buddy. Another short strike. There he is again.
Oh, I lost it.
Oh, well, that explains short strikes. Look at that.
My
Respect. Well, I finally got one of the little short striking bluegill.
Yep.
And there you have it. Absolute dink. But I hooked him good. See you, bud. Got him.
There you go.
Dinky bass, but I'll take it. Man, it's been kind of slow going, so. And he's fighting pretty good, so no complaints by me. There you go. There you go. Pinned him. See you, bud. Throw my Dobbins real quick. This rod just feels so much different than the other one. It's so much faster. Gives me a lot more control of my jig. There's one. It ain't much. Another little dinky bass. He's trying to be big. He wants to fight hard. There you go. Another day, another dink. Oh, that bass came up and throttled it. I saw his belly.
Yeah, you did. That's good.
What is with this place? Dink City. I trimmed the little head portion off of this. I'm just gonna rig up a Mule Minnow 3.2 with a trimmed head. Dakota Sunrise on a 1/16 ounce white mule jig. That right there should be the ticket. There's one. Right along that drop off. A little largemouth. I was kind of hoping that it was going to be a crappie, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Still think there might be a crappie here. It looks like a good crappie spot.
Nope.
No. There's another. 3 casts in a row. One for me, one for Dave, one for me. Okay, it's largemouth city right here. Not saying they're big ones, but it's kind of been the theme of the day right there. Got one. Oh yeah, a little better. Not big, a little better. Bending the rod. That's all I care about. Put a little bend in that stick. I don't care what it is. Fish anything. Hey, bud. Another one. Oh my gosh, they're stacked up right here.
Yeah, they are.
Stacked up. Okay, watch out. I'm gonna go over your rod. Okay, thank you. There you go. Stacked up. That one's, there you go. One of my better fish through the day. Hey, 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 what do you say? The Mule Minnow 3.2 trimmed down. Doing some work. Rambling man with a Rambler rod. Having a good old time with Davey. Yeah, the rod's definitely growing on me. I think it does seem to perform well with a slightly heavier jig, actually. The lighter stuff, the 1/64th, the 1/32nd, you know, that's not quite as ideal, but it's doing well with this 1/16th. And so something tells me this would be a really fun crappie stick. I definitely see myself testing this rod further with some crappie fishing in the future.
I definitely like this rod. It's unique, and it's something that I want to keep fishing with before I have like a final opinion. But all in all, I feel like it's definitely going to be good for like trout fishing applications. I think it's probably going to have some promise for some crappie fishing applications, but it definitely wouldn't be like my first choice of a jig fishing rod for panfish and bass and whatnot. All in all though, it's definitely showing the capability of having some versatility, and that's always a nice thing. So if you're going to only own one rod, you know, this might be a pretty versatile rod for you to fish with. I like it. I want to fish with it more in the future, so stay tuned and I'll do just that. Either way, have a great day. We'll catch you next time.